So in nonviolent communication, we suggest never to give compliments or praise. To see that saying to somebody, you did a good job, you're a kind person, you're very competent, that's still using moralistic judgments. That's still creating a world different than the world that Rumi is talking about when he says there is a place beyond rightness and wrongness. I'll meet you there. When we're using judgmental words, praise and compliments, it's the same form of language as saying to somebody you're unkind, you're stupid, you're selfish. So, we suggest to people to be conscious that the positive judgments are equally as dehumanizing to people as the negative judgments. And we also suggest be particularly conscious of how destructive it is to give positive feedback as a reward. Don't dehumanize people by complimenting them or praising them. Now, when I say this to managers in industry or to teachers, they're often shocked. They've often been in training programs that teach them to compliment and praise employees or students daily because performance rises. And I point out to such people that if you look at the research, you will see that, yes, children work harder when they're praised and complimented. Employees work harder when they're praised and complimented for a very short time, until they sense the manipulation, until they sense that this is not the real stuff, this is not gratitude from the heart, this is another manipulation, another way of trying to get you to do things. And when people sense the manipulation, the production no longer stays high. If you want to read further the danger of using praise and compliments and other rewards, read Elfie Cohn's book, Punished by Rewards, to see the violence of rewards, to see that it's the same violence as punishment. They both are means of control over people. In nonviolent communication, we want to increase power, but power with people, not over them. So, how do we express and receive gratitude in nonviolent communication? First, the intent is all important. The intent is to celebrate life, nothing else. We're not trying to reward the other person. We want the other person to know how our life has been enriched by what they did. That's our only intent. And to make clear how our life has been enriched, we need to say to people three things to make it clear. Praise and compliments don't make these three things clear. First, we want to make clear what the person did that we want to celebrate. What action on their part enriched our lives? Second, we want to tell them how we feel about that. What feelings are alive in us as a result of what they've done? And third, what needs of ours were met? I hadn't made this clear to a group of teachers I was dealing with. We ran out of time this day, and just as I was talking about how to express gratitude in nonviolent communication. And after the meeting, one of the teachers ran up to me, and here's how she expressed her gratitude to me. Her eyes were shining, and she said, "You're brilliant." I said to her, "It doesn't help." She says, "What?" I said, "Telling me what I am doesn't help. I have been called a lot of names in my life, some positive and some far from positive, and I can't ever recall learning anything of value by somebody telling me what I am. I don't think anybody does. I think there's zero information value in being told what you are. But from the look in your eyes, I can see you want to express a gratitude." She says, "Yes, and I want to receive it, but telling me what I am doesn't give it to me." Well, she said, "What do you want me to say?" I said, "Remember what I said in the workshop today. I need to hear three things. First of all, what did I do that made life so wonderful for you?" She thought for a moment and said, "You're so intelligent." "No," I said, "that's still a diagnosis of me. It doesn't really tell me what I did. I'd get more out of your feedback if I knew concretely what I did that really in some way enriched your life." "Oh," she says, "I got you. I think I understand." She opened up her notebook and she pointed to two things she wrote there and had a big star by them. She said, "You said these two things." I looked in her notebook. Yes, I did say those two things. I said, "That helps. See, just knowing that in some way enriched your life." Second, I said, "It would help me to know how you feel right now." "Oh, Marshall, I feel so relieved and hopeful." "Oh." And now third, what need of yours was met? by those two things. Marshall, I've never been able to connect with my 18-year-old son. All we do is fight. I have been needing some concrete direction for connecting with him. These two things you said met that need of mine for some concrete direction. So you can see, I'm sure, how different it was to hear those three things than to hear somebody tell me what I was. So that's how we express gratitude in nonviolent communication.